And we're back once again on Yankees Hot Stove to talk about the Yankees' top prospects as ranked by Baseball America. A couple catchers in there at 1 and 4, Gary Sanchez and J.R. Murphy. You've got the draft picks from last year, Eric Jagielo, Aaron Judge, and Ian Clarkin, 5, 6, and 7. And then a couple outfield prospects as well, including Mason Williams, who's been much talked about. But, guys, let's talk about help on the horizon. Can anybody, we saw Murphy for a little bit last year, anybody help the team in 2014?
Based on what happened last year, no.
Right.
Is the short answer, at least not as an impact player. And that's a problem, which the Yankees are clearly aware of, because they're making changes with their minor league system, with their player development. They've hired Mike Quaddy and Trey Hillman, and they're going to change some of the way they communicate ideas and scouting reports and so forth. And I think they're going to spend a lot more on international signings this year.
I posed that question to Damon Oppenheimer of the Yankees. Can you see any of these guys contributing in 2014? Now, obviously, it's his organization, so he sees his players in a certain way. He talked about a guy like Murphy. He brought up a guy like Heathcott, who had a really disappointing season last year. And then even Mark Montgomery, who we heard so much about in last spring training, but then who had a shoulder injury. The one guy I would focus on a little bit is Murphy, because I think Joe Girardi is a big fan of his. When we're talking about contributing, I mean, Brian McCann is the starting catcher now, so we're talking about a backup catcher spot. I think this kid ends up at AAA. You already have Cervelli, who has major league experience. You have Austin Romine, probably ahead of him, too, because he has the major league experience. But the Yankees, as Dave said, their minor league system and their young players coming up, it has been a disappointment. They need to have guys show them that they can contribute. They need some surprises this year.
Let's be frank. They wanted to get under $189 million. They're probably not going to. There's a lot of reasons for it. One of the biggest ones is their minor league system did not produce how they hoped. You know, that by now they were hoping to have Betanzas and Banuelos in the rotation, perhaps, making not a lot of money, Jabba Chamberlain, Phil, etc. Their farm system has had a couple of bad years in a row, really bad. If nothing else, even if they don't graduate guys to the major leagues, at this time next year, we need to be talking about that Heathcott is ready for the major leagues. Mason Williams is ready for the major leagues. Gary Sanchez is ready for the major leagues. These three guys from last year's draft all moved through the system up to high A or even double A for the college guys. They need finally to have a good year to get some cost certainty and some young blood onto the roster.